This is the Rebel Scum Podcast. Available in video on YouTube and audio wherever you listen to your podcasts. Every week, Brock and James talk the latest rumors, news, and theories from a galaxy far, far away. Support us on Patreon for exclusive offers and join the Star Wars discussion. Patreon.com/RebelScumPodcast. Here are your hosts, Brock and James.
You are always scum. Rebel scum.
Hi, it's me. And there's James. Boom. Welcome to What Is This?
We've been doing this for 5 years and Brock has just nailed the intro now.
Here I am, rock you like a hurricane.
The energy level is like it's super high.
I have no idea what
chance.
we're doing. Future of Star Wars.
We're here to talk Star Wars. I'm James, that's Brock, that's Pete.
What's up?
Is this the Rebel?
We have
It's the Rebel Scum podcast?
It's the Rebel Scum podcast. It's always Rebel Scum podcast.
Boom.
And you guys are watching. This is going up on Thanksgiving, Brock, the American version of Thanksgiving, where I can't tell who does it better. I know who does it better, let's be honest here. But which one is scheduled nicer in the year? Because on one hand, in October, we got October, then you have all of November to get ready for your Christmas dinner. But then there's the American one, which is like, hey, here we are. Now get into the Christmas spirit, the festive spirit, as they always say during the Mesa Day Parade, that is the kickoff to the holidays. So, Pete, which do you think is the real, true Thanksgiving?
Well, come on. What am I going to say? I'm American. I'm going to say American Thanksgiving because it definitely. Look, from a marketing perspective, you couldn't put it in a better spot. That's.
Oh, and there's the problem.
There it is.
It's not about the holidays. No, marketing.
It's not about giving thanks. It's about kicking off the buying season for the end of the year frenzy. Yes.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us on Thanksgiving Talk. Bye. The whole thing is just I was talking about Thanksgiving. No, we're going to talk about Star Wars, the future of Star Wars on Disney Plus and beyond. Pete, thanks for joining Brock and I on the Rebel Scum podcast.
I'm excited to be here. I always love hanging out with you guys. This is great. Thank you for having me.
It's always the best.
I love StreamYard.
It's a good thing you have till Thanksgiving.
This is going to be fun. This is not being edited at all. We are going live right here. We have. Oh, I lost my mouse. Okay, let's get right into this because we have a lot of things to dive into here. Disney Plus Day was. It has come and gone. Many people are saying that it was lackluster, but before we get into that, we have to get into the Patty Jenkins story. But the Patty Jenkins story I want to lead into what we're going to talk about. It's not happening. Rogue Squadron is just not happening. It's been delayed indefinitely, or I can't remember what that article said. She was not dicking around, I believe was the phrase used in an article. So, Pete, let's start with you on this. What were your first thoughts with the Patty Jenkins exit?
Honestly, it was funny because it came the morning of the news that Kathleen Kennedy got the 3-year extension. So it was funny from that regard. Oh, look who's here! That smiling face. It's funny. I'm not surprised anymore, and I, unlike a lot of people, it doesn't bother me, honestly. I do wish that Lucasfilm would do a better job of just sort of waiting to build these stories up because when Star Wars has there's certain things that it needs to follow, certain rules, certain lore, certain things that it needs to be Star Wars. So I think when they bring in like the Game of Thrones guys, or they bring in Patty Jenkins or whoever, the Lord and Miller, you're taking a risk because they're not necessarily, they're known for making their movies, right? The Lord and Miller movie is a Lord and Miller movie. to make that a Star Wars movie is a bit of a challenge. So I'm not surprised. Am I disappointed? I can't even say I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that we have to deal with the social media outcry that happens after that sort of thing. But otherwise, I mean, I honestly was not shocked. I was not at all.
Brock?
Yeah, it's like until there's a trailer, nothing is real. Like it's, I don't know. It's like when you think about it, it's like, what is the next movie? Like, I have no idea. Like we're putting all our like belief into any of the shows that are coming out on Disney Plus, but none of even that is safe. So it's like until there's a trailer, I don't believe it's gonna happen. Until I see Spider-Man and Tobey Maguire in Spider-Man and that other guy, Andrew Garfield in Spider-Man, I don't believe they're in it.
Right. I think that's fair. I mean,
yeah.
And I also feel like it's. I don't know. There was such a big deal made of the Rogue Squadron. I mean, they made that really awesome, couldn't have been cheap trailer where she walks into an X-wing.
Yeah.
So you would have thought they had a story that they were comfortable with. And the reality too is, I mean, she's been working. She's still got some Wonder Woman movie. She's got another Wonder Woman to make. She's got an Amazon's spinoff. She doesn't have time for Star Wars. So I don't know. I don't think it's that big a deal. I really don't. No. And honestly, I feel like this might lead into the discussion a bit, but I feel like Star Wars told on Disney Plus is fine. I think it's been good stuff.
Yeah.
Am looks like Max Headroom for those.
Yeah, I agree with the Disney Plus.
I just didn't want to take
my internet is
just on my side or what's
crap again, so I can't really tell what's going. Cam,
it's a Canadian internet.
Is it
like
working
it doesn't
now?
look terrible.
Is it all right?
Oh wait, no, that's just Cam. It's not the camera. It's just.
Now it's doing it, and you're doing it.
I don't know what's going on. So yeah, last time I did a live thing, I was using my phone, and the camera didn't work because it was a wireless thing. Now I'm trying to connect this GoPro, and it's messing up. So,
no, I mean, now that James left, it seems just fine.
But anyways, we'll carry on until he comes back. He might be gone forever. Oh, there he is.
There he is.
My internet is acting up, which it hasn't in a while.
It's Canadian internet.
I want to add to the Patty Jenkins talk, because the Patty Jenkins in that article, I believe they also said that Rian Johnson, his trilogy, his whatever, if that's ever happening, has also been shelved. And we've also seen what's his name, Colin Trevorrow has been, he was let go. The Game of Thrones guys, which you mentioned, Pete, they were let go. And there's one common denominator with all of these directors being pushed aside, and it seems to be that the project that has come out before their Star Wars project has not been received very well.
That's a great point. Yeah.
It's almost like they've hired these people based on something, then what's happened has come out, and it hasn't received. Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like, no, we're gone. Like, and I don't think that is necessarily the reason why they've been let go, but it feels almost maybe Lucasfilm has lost. They're not sure of them anymore. They don't have the confidence in these filmmakers anymore, and that might not be the exact reason either. It might just be that trickles down, and all of a sudden this micromanaging, which they were reporting, all of a sudden becomes that issue, because if you don't trust someone to do something, you're going to look over their shoulder and micromanage a little bit more, and a little bit more. And the cases with all of them all line up. Rian Johnson is the one you could maybe argue that Last Jedi still made over $1 billion, and it was kind of split. And then Knives Out is Knives Out. But if you look at, James Gunn did Suicide Squad and then immediately does a Peacemaker show. And there's examples like that all the time where if he really wanted to do this trilogy and they really wanted him to do this trilogy, I you kind of feel like he would be pushing it a little more. Like another example of that is Ryan Johnson did Knives Out, and he's already doing 2, and 3 is already planned. Yep. And it's kind of like if he really wanted to do a Star Wars movie and they wanted him to do it, don't you think that maybe it would already be maybe not done, but a little further along than him having the press have to ask him about it?
I kind of feel like Star Wars might be better off using directors who are on their way up and coming. I think like Deborah Chow doing Kenobi is awesome, right? I think but Chloe Zhao, I would not want her to do a Star Wars because I feel like the pressure to do, like, as I was saying before, there's a look and feel and expectation from a Star Wars movie, and you may be better off using directors who are inspired by and are Star Wars fans and driven by Star Wars to do. I would put money on the table right now that Taika's movie is not going to happen. I would not be surprised to if that falls through, just simply because Taika does Taika movies, and it worked for Thor Ragnarok, and apparently Love and Thunder was really cool, but who knows if that'll play in the Star Wars world or not, and who knows why these decisions are coming down, and because we didn't see the Lord and Miller stuff, we didn't see what was going wrong with Rogue One, so we don't really know. And I think all the armchair Hollywood executives who pretend to know everything and blame Kathleen, and it's just that Star Wars, all this information comes out. I mean, James, you know a lot about the way movies are made, and it's like these things happen all the time. You just don't hear about them because they don't announce them, right? It just so happens you have directors walking in and out, and writers coming and going, and until you get to the final result.
Yeah, I think that the thing that was weird about the Patty Jenkins news was they did that whole like video and spiel about her coming on board, and like you said, it's like it felt like they were a little further along, and then a month later, we have a writer. Yeah, what? Like it just the whole thing seemed. It's very like the announcements need to stop because I'm on board 100%. With just like. Yeah, and you know what?
Nobody believes them at this point. So
yeah, DC used to be like that. Remember the DC slate of movies where they announced everything? Like here's all our titles, and none of them happened because that's where it is.
I think Connie Kennedy's behind it somehow. That's my theory. We all know the evil twin story. It's been told a million times. I'm just saying. Listen, guys. Let's be honest here. I'm overshadowed here. I'm like, sorry, I'm late. By the way,
no worries.
But I'm like, okay, I'm gonna be on the show with Pete here. It's like he's been in Star Wars, forever, like interviews, and he knows all these people. He's written for Star Wars. He's written novelizations and all. And I'm like, man, wow, it's an honor. And then I realized, every show, you've got to have the moron. And so it just hit me.
So that's why they chose me, Cam? Is that what you're saying?
I was basically I was hired for this gig just to throw out the Connie Kennedy joke to lighten the mood every once in a while.
Yeah.
So,
see?
So anyway, just let me know when the time for the next one-liner is, and I'll be here. I'll be watching episode 8 of Visions if you just let me know next time. So.
I'm halfway through the first episode of Visions. It's cool.
I am on episode 8 of Visions. It's taken me this long to get there, but I guess we can't really talk about it because I don't want to ruin anything. But I'm not a big anime guy, so it was a little different, but I enjoyed it though. I thought it was fun. So anyway, Connie Kennedy. All right.
Connie Kennedy. She's in charge of everything. But Ken, do you have any thoughts on the Patty Jenkins ousting? Let's call it whatever it is. Her creative differences.
Kind of just a broken record. It's like, I don't believe anything. Even when she was announced, it's like, okay, that sounds great. It might be good. I wasn't a big fan of her second Wonder Woman. I loved the first one, so I wasn't like excited or unexcited, but I'm kind of like when a movie happens and we see that it's happening, good, but an announcement doesn't really mean anything. So
yeah.
I'm not upset or happy. I want a movie. I miss going to the theater to see Star Wars, but I'm enjoying what's on Disney Plus too, and I'm enjoying the streaming, so I'm good with it for now.
Now let's get into the streaming. Now we'll get into the meat of it. So Disney Plus Day came, and Star Wars is clearly going to be living on Disney Plus, and all that happened was the Kenobi sizzle reel. But here's the thing: there's two from a year ago, apparently. But here's I have a few points on that. Is one, I kind of like that they put the sizzle reel on Disney Plus. The drawback to that was Pete had to tweet it out for me to know that it was on Disney Plus. That was was that the way to go? Because I had no idea. I was on Disney Plus, and there was no. It wasn't on. They had like Olaf Presents and Shang-Chi and all this stuff was there, and I was like, okay. And then you're like, it's on there. I said, where? And I had to search, and I typed in Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it came up. Right. So I think it was. Yeah, I liked it. I thought it was cool that they put it on there, but it was kind of weird. Now it's easier to find when I go on Disney Plus. It's under like Disney Plus Day stuff on that. But how did you? So look, we didn't get Andor. We didn't get anything else. Ken? Was that a big deal for you that we didn't get anything, or can you live your life?
I mean, I can live with any of it. I mean, I love Star Wars, but I'm like, it's fake. So I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think I made a comment. Pete had a great tweet a few days ago about that, just how D20, was it next week? D23 is coming up, or this week, or whenever that is. So maybe they're saving it for that. That would be great. If not, it's, I don't know. And I made a comment on that tweet. It was kind of like, I grew up, we waited for things. Yep. It's like you waited till it came out in the theater. Or of Hazard, 8 p.m. on Fridays after Pizza Hut with my grandparents. So, if you didn't make it home at 8 o'clock, you didn't find out what trouble the boys got into, And so, but no, so I'm okay waiting. I think that's a lost art, and I think people just that's why, I think people get a little bit too, like, I want to have it right now. So I'm good.
No,
great point last time. Well,
I was just going to agree with Cam. I mean, it was interesting because there was so much expectation, right? There were literally there were some people that people respected that said, Ewan McGregor will be seen as Obi-Wan this Friday, and right. It didn't happen. And I honestly, like, two things. One, Disney Plus Day was not to get the four of us to buy Disney Plus. We're already there. We're going to watch it. As James and I were saying before we got on, if it dropped accidentally on a Wednesday morning, we'd be like, oh, cool. There it is. There. We'll watch it now. So it's not for us. And it's funny you guys were mentioning Visions, because I've said a few times on my show recently, like, people need to recognize that Visions technically is as successful as The Mandalorian. Not because of the number of people who watch it, but because of the fact that Disney made as much money on Mando as they did on Visions, because you're paying whether you watch all 9 episodes or not. And it's Star Wars, and it's all there. And Disney Plus Day, I tweeted a lot about this. Disney Plus Day was to get new subscribers, and they have the bulk of the Star Wars subscribers. What they need the parents who are like, what am I gonna, should I buy Hulu, or should I buy Disney Plus, or should I buy Netflix? And they need to show all the stuff for Disney Plus that you want to that they want parents, and they want a different audience to buy. Right. So Disney Plus Day is for beginners. Yes. And the key too is it's not Lucasfilm Plus Day, right? It was Disney Plus Day. So you're going to get everything that Disney has to offer.
Yep. Sneakerella, all of it. Yeah.
Sneakerella. Oh my God. I am so psyched for Sneakerella now. I didn't even know it was coming. That was the surprise for me.
I don't even wear shoes, and now I'm excited.
It's pretty bad for me, who has a Star Wars podcast, and I don't think I watched anything from Disney Plus Day. I watched pretty much every single teaser Marvel trailer, because that's whatever. Like, has anyone watched Under the Helmet, the Boba Fett thing? I've been meaning to, but I haven't had time. Like, that's it.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I haven't seen Under the Helmet yet. The artwork for it was great. The
it's pretty short.
The thumbnail for Under the Helmet.
Yeah, it's 20 minutes, right?
But I haven't had a chance to watch it yet.
Yeah, it's 20 minutes, and honestly, it's cool. But again, I think that's definitely one of those things that's more for people who aren't us. right? Under the Helmet is a cool sort of behind the scenes, and you may know the name Boba Fett from The Empire
Right.
Strikes Back.
It kind of felt like regurgitated info. It wasn't like what, huh?
Yeah.
It's like I've seen
Wait a
those
second.
clips of
Yeah. I mean, there was some interesting new behind the scenes stuff, but nothing that was so. And it's 20 minutes. I mean,
yeah.
so yeah, it's whatever. Again, Disney Plus Day, I think, was not for Star Wars devotees. It was for people who just, it was for people who are thinking about getting Disney Plus. And that was it.
Yeah, and you got to think Disney Plus is for kids, so it's like for kids that don't know the stuff that we've been watching, reading, hearing for 20 30 and Pete's example 70 years.
Yeah,
Star Wars.
Once you're somewhere in that ballpark.
But for kids that are like, oh, what is the Star Wars thing? There's other things that are like not just the Lego Star Wars or whatever you want to have your entry point. So like we can't poo on everything. This is a kids show, so I didn't curse. But yeah, so I don't know. It was cool to see all these things dropping. I still haven't watched anything that actually came out on the day, like Shang-Chi I want to watch. Yeah. Jungle Cruise I want to watch. So like I like that, but like yeah, you're right. Like Star Wars was kind of, I don't know, not present. I didn't watch the Obi-Wan thing, but I can't even comment on it.
It's a piece of the offering, and that's it. And that's where it was. Yep. And I think we'll see something on D23.
The Obi-Wan thing would have been. Yeah, I think the Obi-Wan thing might have been better if there was a little bit more information than just 2022. Like maybe spring, summer, fall. Just like a little bit more to it. Like I know it's coming out next year. It's kind of a given at this point. But whatever. It was fine.
I think part of the deal is we see Marvel it seems like Marvel's got it together, and they're telling you month, date, for the next 8-9 years. And so it's easy to compare that to Star Wars, and they're two different things. So,
well, I think that's the thing too, and that's a great point, Cam, because I think people need to recognize that they're different franchises, and it's interesting because as we were saying before, I don't know if you saw it or not, Cam, but we all watched the Spider-Man trailer, and we're all excited about that, but we're going to go see that, and but they're two different universes. They're two very different ways of telling the stories, and I think people just need to sort of step back and be like, Star Wars is told to you the way Star Wars is told to you, and Marvel is follows their own path, and you can't compare them. And it's the same people who get pissed off at DC and Marvel. Again, they're closer related, but they're two different ways of bringing their stories to their fans. And so
when they kind of already have a blueprint written in the the comics, not that they it's not direct, but they kind of already have these stories. It's like I'm not a comic person, but I'm learning from other comic people. Like, oh, they're like, yeah, that's from the the 82 issue of, like, oh, okay, so this has already happened. So
yep.
And Marvel has zero problem, or DC has zero problem with retconning anything. Star Wars is just like, oh, we can't change a thing.
It's true. It is true.
Even though it's all George Lucas did was change everything as he went. He's like, hey, brother and sister. Zem Wessel is the best. Zem Wessel should have been under the helmet. That's
what are you talking about? Star Wars: A New Hope, final is my favorite version.
Bring back human Jabba.
You know what? I know Pete hates it, but I love that Jabba the Hutt scene in A New Hope. I know it's cheesy and him stepping over the tail is a little weird, but they put Jabba the Hutt in A New Hope. It was like, in 97, it was like, let's go, we got to go, Jabba's back. When you grow up with the Hutt, you got to go to the theater and spend an extra $10 on popcorn for it.
Well worth it.
So Disney Plus is going to be the home. It's going to be the home for. It was. Disney Plus is going to be the home for Star Wars. My internet is on fire. It's going to be the home for Star Wars for the foreseeable future. There's no way around that. Disney Plus didn't do it any favors if you go to Twitter. But here we are. We've got The Mandalorian, huge hit. very first episode. Do you remember the first thoughts that went through your mind in that episode?
Yeah. Who wants to go first?
The first episode of Mandalorian, is that the question?
Yeah, what was the
You
first
cut
thoughts
off
that
kind
went
of
through your
first.
head? I'm sorry about my end. I don't know what's going on.
Like the very first episode of Mandalorian?
Like the very first number one.
with the blue guy that I didn't really like.
Yeah. Oh, Horatio Sands.
First episode of Mandalorian, what were the
when
first thoughts that
he-
went through your head?
When he walks into that bar and like gets into a skirmish with the other people in the and then it's an Aqualish that he pulls through the door and then the door closes and I was like, I'm in.
Oh,
I'm like,
yeah.
this is everything I've been waiting for. So
Yep.
that's it. Like
Yeah,
I was like,
it had
wow.
me from the beginning. Yep.
It's funny you mentioned the blue guy though, because I remember my honest first thought is, I'm honest about the way I thought about Phantom Menace the first time. Honestly, I thought he looked extremely Star Trek Next Generation.
Me too.
So I was a little bit worried about that. But when we saw Grogu at the end, like I lost my mind. And what's amazing about that is one of those moments that had cultural significance and it changed Star Wars forever from that point. Because I think we all walked into Mandalorian thinking, oh, cool, it'll be like a bounty hunter thing. Because from we that opening scene, you're just, oh, he's going to be like an Old West thing. He's going to have that sort of vibe. And then it turned into a completely different story.
Man.
And then the second episode when baby Grogu used the Force for the first time on the Mudhorn, you're like, oh, this is a Force story now. And it's a fatherhood story, and and of course Baby Yoda changed everything. Like it became a cultural phenomenon. I remember I walked out of Rise of Skywalker with my sister-in-law, who she's as much a normie as you get. Like she only goes to see Star Wars movies when they come out at Christmas, when we go as a family. And she was like, wasn't Baby Yoda supposed to be in this thing? So like that's how much of an impact that Baby Yoda had. Like he was everywhere. And it's honestly, I don't know anything about the numbers, but I would say Baby Yoda merchandise is far outselling anything else. I mean, it's on it's on pop sockets on your phone. It's
a massive air balloon now. It's gonna be
right.
I think it's is it
Macy's
gonna be in
Parade, I
Macy's
think.
Parade?
Macy's Parade,
Yeah.
yeah.
But they just had Balloon Fest.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's one of those moments. The Baby Yoda reveal. You'll never forget it. Sitting in the living room. I guess it was 2 a.m. Just like I think I leapt up. I was like, oh my gosh, it was just total game changer.
It was amazing that with all the leaks and everything that comes out ahead of time that we didn't know that. I mean, I remember talking to Dominic Pace, and he was saying that on set, the only thing they knew was that there was a child. They didn't know anything about it. They didn't know if it was human or anything, and they had no reason to think it was anything other than a human baby. And so, just remarkable that they were able to keep that as a secret for so long.
yeah, to think that Celebration in Chicago,
Yep. Same thing.
Like
Chicago,
like they showed those clips to even the
Chicago?
after the stream. They showed them something. If you were there, you only saw it. But like to think that they were sitting there and they're like, everyone's like, wow, this looks crazy. And then like Favreau's just like, you have no idea. You have no idea. Like,
yeah, it is. It's wild.
and that. Sorry, that secrecy carries into season 2 because apparently I don't know if you've read this. Who plays Bo-Katan? What's her name?
Amy Sackhoff.
Yeah, she had no clue. She's in that scene. She had no clue that it was supposed to be Luke, right? Because it's just an actor in a black cloak with a.
They told him it was Plo Koon, I think, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So yeah, like kudos. Somebody's sorry, go ahead.
Which is why I don't mind that we didn't see a Kenobi trailer or a Andor trailer. I don't want to know anything about it. Just like
I love
all
it.
the things with Spider-Man, right? Everybody has. If I didn't know that, if all the rumors, because we don't know anything, but if we did know that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were going to be in, I would have much rather have seen that December 19th or whatever date it's coming out.
Yes.
And been like, holy cow, what did I just see? That would have blown my mind. But now if it doesn't happen, I'll be like, oh, that thing was supposed to happen that didn't happen. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Damn rumor culture.
It's kind of like Michael Biehn in the Mando season 2, where like he's in it and then he showed up and you're like, oh, well, that wasn't a big deal. His character was fine, but like it was.
He's not the Terminator.
I know, but just. Cam, do you have a favorite episode of The Mandalorian?
Oh man, that's a tough. Let me think. I like the Crate Dragon episode. I thought that was really good.
Mm.
I just love all the elements of that one. But I don't know. I kind of like the last episode when Luke showed up too. That moment. I mean, the CGI. It's kind of that. I kind of just suspend disbelief on that part. But I love the build up where you're like, is it? You think it's him? You're not sure. I think it's him. Yeah, it's him. And then you realize it's him. But then also, like you were saying with the Baby Yoda reveal in the first episode, it's kind of hard to beat the feelings of that very first Mando episode.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm trying to. It's been a while since I've watched it, so I'm sure I'm forgetting another one. So I'll think on it.
Give it a thought. I think we're in this cool era right now, or the time period where this is where George Lucas clearly wanted to take. I think the one thing that's great about it staying on streaming and not having to worry about the theatrical stuff yet, which I'm with you guys, where I want to go back to the theater, but George Lucas, his next step after Revenge of the Sith, if you remember, he was planning that TV show. And he thought because of HBO, because of what HBO was doing, it was now time. And I think it was budget reasons and whatnot. They kind of killed that. It was Underworld, I think it was the name. But now we're in that. This is what George Lucas was gearing towards. And it's awesome too, because you have the volume, which is something else that, he wasn't a part of, but all of the prequels kind of were leading towards that technology. And this, I feel like streaming, the serialized nature of it all, this is where Star Wars can and will thrive. That's how I feel. I'm very happy with it. I would love to go back to the theater and get together with everybody to go see another movie, but it just feels right on Disney Plus right now.
I agree. I mean, I see Solo playing behind you, and Solo as a 5-part miniseries would have been great. I mean, it was good as a movie. I think Solo is a really fun movie. I'm not as hot to go on make Solo 2 happen, but if it happens, great. But it's if they created it as a 5 or 6 part series, that would have been great. You would have been able to get more from it. And I think that's kind of where George was going. We all know he was inspired by the Flash Gordon serials, and so to be able to do that with Mando and Bad Batch is an example. I know you haven't seen all of it, James, but it's an example of what serials can do, and the good parts and the bad parts. There are some Bad Batch episodes which are duds, because they're serializing it and they're stretching it out. But I think Disney Plus is a great place to tell the Star Wars story. And this is, I think we were saying before, like this is where people need to recognize it's different than Marvel. Marvel is tentpole story after tentpole story, which is why I think Eternals is struggling a little bit, because it's trying to do too much in that. But you go from Iron Man to Thor to Captain America, like you get these big major events. And Star Wars really, The Mandalorian taught us that 16 parts of a story leading from the moment Mando finds this Force sensitive child to him handing it off to Luke in a 2.5 hour movie, that wouldn't have been as great. But to do it over 8.5 hours, 10 hours, whatever it is, was just a great way to do it.
We're waiting for James' internet to catch up. There it is.
You need bigger hamsters on those wheels, man.
I seriously, it's Brock and I used this like last week. It was flawless, and today it's like there's no internet anywhere. I can watch Solo fine though.
Right,
this is playing fine,
no problem.
Like this is like the best it's been, but I can't. It might be my computer. Anyway, we'll go on. So yeah, I completely agree. I think look, this is where we need to be. It's funny though with George Lucas and his HBO that The Sopranos was a big inspiration for him being able to bring Star Wars to it, and then they decided to do a movie, and people are saying that the movie would have worked better had it been a limited series. Yeah. So maybe, this is I haven't seen the movie, so I'm just saying this is what I've heard, but like there's something to be said for it. And sure, it's not big and it's not extravagant, but it's great. And I hate waking up to the tweets giving it all away, but I also love when Brock texts me at 6:30 in the morning, like, ah! You got watch it, and then I'm like, I'm watching. He goes, hold on, huh? It's like it's a different experience, but it's a fun, unique one that you don't get when you watch something in the theater.
Absolutely, you get 2 months of conversation, you get 2 months of anticipation, you get it all. It's a great way to do it, and I think it's helping to build the Star Wars community too. I think it's really important to do that. So,
yeah, I love the week in between each episode just as much, as watching the episode, because you get to talk about it. We kind of share stories or ideas or theories, and it has time to breathe. So,
yep,
I'm liking it.
Yeah, Brock, how do you like the way? Oh, sorry, go on.
No, continue your question. It might work.
I was going to ask you what you thought of the weekly drops for Star Wars versus the Netflix way of just binging it like strange. I love Stranger Things, but I'm not a binger, so you know where I stand on this. But I just want to know how you feel. Like, do you prefer once a week, or do you want to get it all at once and get it going? Like,
those things are like for people like us, right? Like that you kind of want to space this out because like even though there's episodic, and I think Netflix does a few of them, but like even if you don't like it's not the same as back in the day where like if you missed it, right? So right. It's close. We live in this world where it's streaming, so it's like in that like 2 months of airing, yeah, it's I think it's magic, right? Especially like stuff like Star Wars, you get excited, especially with like how they were telling the Mandalorian story, where it's like, oh, man, all this stuff. But like, I think the viewer now has they're open to a lot of new things. Look at the success of something like Squid Game, like huge, and that's the Netflix effect. Like, if it does good numbers and you see it number one, a lot of people are like, I'll watch that. Like, yeah, like what's the Spanish one about bank robbers? Like Casa Mi Papa or Papa John's or whatever. Like that one. My mom has watched that. I haven't watched that.
I'm unfamiliar with it.
I forget, with the mask and the mustache, but it's not V for Vendetta. But anyways, like that one's pretty popular, and some people compare Squid Game to it because one, it's like a foreign series or whatever. It's in a different language, but it's like I think the streaming audience is down to watch more. So it's like Lucasfilm should take that into consideration, and I think they are because like. I think Star Wars Visions is a really big swing for them, in my opinion. Like, so yeah, like there's a window that we can do a lot more with. So yes, more episodic. Make us wait. Make us savor it.
Well, I mean, think about this: if they dropped it like Stranger Things, we all would have known about Luke in one day. Yeah. And if we didn't get a chance to watch
somebody would have.
Yeah, somebody would have told us, and it would have lost that anticipation. So I love it. It's definitely the way to go. Well,
like I watched Snyder Cut in one sitting. So yeah, like a whole season of Mandalorian back to back is very doable.
I watched Snyder Cut in 4 nights. I literally watched
what we did
because I'm in that brain power. And that was
the original plan. No, like 4 parts, and you watched it different day. Like that was a mistake. But anyways,
no, I don't think it was the original plan. I think that was the backup plan that he had. So he cut it.
Like they announced that, and then they changed their mind. I was just like, "This is
Kathleen Kennedy over there." Jeez.
Yeah, Kathleen too. Connie.
See, it all comes around.
Connie, it's Connie again.
Connie.
Every time you turn around, Connie, get back in there, ruining things.
One thing that was really cool with the end of Mandalorian season 2 was when it brought us right into The Book of Boba Fett surprised all of us. That's another surprise that no one saw coming.
Yes,
The Book of Boba Fett was announced, the first post-credit scene in the Mandalorian Star Wars history, I guess, and it was for a new show that was not announced. Rangers of the New Republic was announced, and this Lando show that I haven't heard anything of either. But and that droids show. There's so many. But Book of Boba Fett was happening. There was Bob Iger. He said this summer. Yeah, the summer before Mandalorian season 2 that they were going to take characters and spin them off into shows. I think it's become clear that was supposed to be Rangers of the New Republic, but that's not happening. Pete, do you have a favorite Mandalorian character, and is there one that you wish or would hope we'll see in a future Disney Plus show?
Cara Dune.
Yeah. Huge Cara Dune.
Sorry.
I'm a big fan of actresses who block me on Twitter. I want to see them come back into
we will take this clip out and post it separately.
Yeah, please.
Out of context.
Pete loves Cara Dune. I don't understand.
Didn't you sign up for her acting classes once?
I did. It turns out if you go to a Gina Carano acting class, you have to teach her. That's the way it works. I think I have two favorite characters that I'd like to see return. One, and I think my sense is we may get almost a spin-off series out of the Marshal. I'd love to see Cobb Vanth come back, although not my favorite character. I mean, I loved that episode, one of my favorites. But my favorite character, who is just a side character, is Mayfeld. I love that character, and I love like the realness, and I love the fact that it's a comedian who's literally made fun of Star Wars fans, and he's just being himself. I mean, he's literally just being himself, and it's but I think what he brought, like the first episode he was in was kind of, it was weird, but just the reality that he brought to what's happening with the Empire and all that stuff. I thought he just did such a great job. I thought he did such a great job, and I'd love to see more Mayfeld. Bring him back.
Brock, how about you?
I actually was thinking about this today. I was like, man, why did they have to kill off Quill? Like, he would be an amazing character of some sort. Like,
yeah,
like even just like Quill and IG-11, it's like, that's awesome. So he would be great. But from season 2, I don't know. Like,
it could be season 1. You know,
or season 1. Yeah. I guess Quill then. Like, I don't know. Like, who's still around that's alive or isn't already getting a show? So.
I was a huge Quill fan, but I was okay with them killing him off because I think it was a big moment, and I think it was for the progression of the character in the show. I think it was a necessary moment, and it's unfortunate, but it happens. And our favorite characters die in movies all the time. Cam, how about you?
Well, I mean, is it supposed to be just any character or like side characters? Are you like
any character in the Mandalorian? So it could even be the Krayt Dragon if you want.
Okay, well, I love Moff Gideon because I think Giancarlo Esposito, he's an awesome actor. So I love all his roles. So I think he plays that bad guy, but yet you kind of he puts a lot of humanity into it. Yeah, I guess it's just the way his personality is, but he's awesome. Also, just because of Dominique Pace, I think he's an awesome guy in general, and so I'd love to see his Gecko, the bounty hunter, maybe get fleshed out a little more, bring him back in. I think he'd love it, and I just think he's a really cool guy. So
yeah, he's such an ambassador for the fandom and stuff. It would be a great sort of reward for all he's done, and I'm sure that's not why he's done it, but yeah.
No, absolutely, he's a great guy and a great ambassador.
Yeah, and I think Mayfeld, he's awesome, and the Afro lady, Pele, what her name is?
Peli Motto or something. Yeah.
Pele, yeah.
Yeah.
She's just funny. She's great comic relief. So. with her
She
little
was
jump,
great.
her little jumpsuit and her afro. So bring her back.
And I loved her pit.
She should host.
Yeah.
Yes, she should host season 2 of Visions, just like she should intro each episode.
Kind of like the Watcher.
With her picture.
You know, watch her into what if.
Jesus.
She'll be like, I don't know where this is happening.
Afro.
It's
She doesn't even realize she's in Star Wars.
That's funny.
Yeah, Amy Sedaris. That's it.
Yeah, there you go, Amy Sedaris. Yeah, great. Do you guys have any expectations for season 3?
None.
Hopes? Any dreams? Yeah, I think they should just end the series and just call it a day.
I mean, so my bizarre fan theory is that, and I said this when the Blacksaber showed up at the end, Darksaber, not the Blacksaber, the Darksaber showed up at the end of season 1, was the reason it's called the Mandalorian. It's because he is the Mandalorian. Like, he's the guy who's going to, become the ruler of Mandalore and restore Mandalore and all that. So I think that may be where this story is going. I would love to see Boba Fett trying to do the same thing and sort of building an underworld army to go and do that. And that's kind of where he's going with it. And the battle for Mandalore will be between Bo-Katan, Din Djarin, and Boba Fett. I mean, how awesome would that be? So for season 3, I don't know where to take it, because we had an expectation for season 1, which was no expectation. We didn't know it was going to be anything more than a Wild West in space. Then it became this amazing father story, and so it's so important that he changed as a character to become a good guy, right? And so to watch him become the Mandalorian and fight off Bo-Katan, who I would love to see become a villain, that would freak out the fan base. But I think it would be awesome to see Bo-Katan be a villain and Boba Fett be sort of somewhere in the middle. I think because Ming-Na Wen is amazing, and I would just want to see more of her and Boba just like doing their thing. But yeah, I would love to see a face-off between Boba, Bo, and Din. Grogu will be the adopted Mandalore. That could be.
Imagine there's a time jump 15 years, and he comes back as a 1-year-old. And he.
What do you think? Do you think they bring Grogu? I mean, how do you not bring Grogu back in one form or another? He's a cash cow.
I think he's coming back at the end of season 3.
Yeah.
I think they tested out. Yeah, they tested out that one episode without him in season 2, and they're like, "Will the show survive without Grogu?" And they're like, "Hey, we probably could do it." So, you know what? Though I've said this to Brock. If he never comes back, I'm okay.
Yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
If he comes back, I would love it because he's adorable. But if Grogu is gone with Luke and that's the end of him, so be it. Like that's. I hope he doesn't get massacred later, but. Whatever, it's a story. It's fake. Those plushies will still be available at Walmart, so we're good. Yeah,
they'll just move to the dollar bin.
Yeah, I like what you said though, Pete, about like that idea. But the Ahsoka show's coming. They've brought in Ahsoka, and Ahsoka mentioned she name dropped Thrawn.
Oh yeah.
And so Thrawn is alive and well, clearly somewhere. Is there? Do you guys think that there's a chance that maybe that's what intersects these shows? Is maybe as much. I mean, the Saber's got to come into play, and Mandalore does. But do you think it's actually Thrawn is the crux of it all? The crux of it all?
Well, think about this. Now that you said that, I mean, Sabine has wielded the Darksaber.
Uh-huh.
She could be in the mix for the leader of Mandalore as well. Her family was actively involved in all the goings on there. So maybe Thrawn comes back and picks a side. Yeah.
I love the idea of all these shows, like you're saying, Pete. Obviously we're looking at like Mandalore. It's leading to Mandalore, the Mandalorian, and they've said, I guess there's 100 or a lot of. There's some scene with a lot of Mandalorians in this next season,
Yep.
But I mean, what if all these shows? I love the idea of them culminating in some sort of a battle, or maybe in an event where the shows all accumulate at some point. I don't know if it would be I guess it wouldn't really work as a film, but or maybe a Disney Plus, an event or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like an end game kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, or
Brock,
like
you
a
think-
crossover, like in like the Arrowverse sort of thing, which would be like 3 or 4, like an episode in the same week of every show, which doesn't really work. But I agree. Like I definitely want all these shows to somehow connect in some way. But I think you're right. Like it would be sweet to have like it's leading to an event and it's like a 2-hour movie that's specifically for Disney Plus. Like awesome.
Yeah, because Bob Iger said no movies on Disney Plus, but Bob Chapek, he did not say that.
Right.
And
But we've also
Iger went the way of Kathleen Kennedy.
Connie Kennedy.
Connie.
But the thing,
Kathy gets such a bad rap. Oh man, that's why I'm writing a song about her.
but I mean, the world has changed, so it is conceivable that they drop a movie in the theaters and on Disney Plus at the same time to bring all this together. But in a couple of years, that may be not that unusual. And yeah, I would go.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd go see it in the theaters and then watch it 20 more times on Disney Plus when I got home. So.
Yeah, I definitely would. I mean, but we would. We're not the ones that they would want to go to the theater because they already have us in the theater, which is why we don't get anything on Disney Plus Day because they have our money.
They already got our money
already. They have. Right. I've already pre-ordered the Obi-Wan Kenobi T-shirts that are. I haven't, but you know, I honestly, I will for sure. But I really love that they threw it on Disney Plus and not just on YouTube. No offense, YouTube, but like it's a Disney Plus day. That's where they should have directed me there. I mean, you ended up doing it, Pete, but they should have. But it was still like it was cool that that's what they did. I think if they continue to do this, that's where they should just have it all. Just go to Disney Plus and enjoy this day right here. You know, and remember, I don't know if you guys remember, but TGIF. Remember TGIF on ABC? Do you remember those glory days?
Yeah. Yep.
Step by Step.
Oh yeah.
But like every August, like end of August, they would have one of the stars from one of those shows and the set of a different show, and they'd be like, "Here's what's coming up on T," and they would like throw, and they did it for Saturday morning cartoons. I think too.
Oh, remember the Saturday morning cartoon thing? Yeah, there'd be like a Friday night, all the Saturday morning cartoons. Oh, I remember that. That's well, that's sort of like DC fandom.
Yes, yeah, which I think they do. They did a really good job, and I think that's what a lot of Star Wars fans were expecting and anticipating. But like you said, it's like Disney Plus Day is. There's so many properties that they had to promote and sell.
And is it like DC?
So I refunded.
Yeah, you canceled your Disney Plus subscription as a result. I can see that. I can see that. But I mean, the DC fandom, not Disney fandom, but DC fandom. It's if you watch that for 2 hours, it's because that's stuff that you all want. Like it would. Honestly, I couldn't watch a 2-hour Disney Plus Day presentation in hopes. Well, who am I kidding? I would do it anyway. But most people can't watch that. And here's a sequel to Luca, and here's Sneakerella, and here's Hawkeye, and here's like it doesn't work. Whereas DC fandom, you can be like, here's animated Harley Quinn, and here's Harley Quinn in a movie, and here's 3 different Batman, and you're like, oh, give it all to me. But I don't really care that much about High School Musical season 3, the musical. So I'm
whoa.
No, I will make a stand right here, right now, and say I don't care about High School Musical. Don't at me, bro. That was going to be my segue into our next topic. Let's one more. We'll get this
to lure us in.
We could talk about my true passion. The musical. Going forward, we know nothing about Obi-Wan Kenobi other than Obi-Wan and Vader are going to face off, I guess, unless that's a flashback of what we've already seen, although who knows. Andor, we know very little, except that it's a spy espionage. And then whatever else is kind of Ahsoka is Rosario Dawson and Hayden Christensen. Cam, do you have any hopes, anticipation or expectations for those coming up that we have seen or haven't seen?
Any expectations? No, I try not to have any expectations. Leads to disappointment. So I just want to be entertained. True. I think it's a lot easier. They're the writers. It's like, but I would love to see Thrawn, Ezra. I love that whole story, which I think we're going to get. I mean, I think have Sabine come in. I'm excited about the Acolyte, bridging the High Republic to kind of the Republic we're used to, kind of the what's happened to the Jedi and then the Sith rising up. So anyway, I'm really excited about that. I'm hoping we get some Plagueis thrown in somehow or some young Palpatine. So that's kind of what I want.
Yeah. Pete, how about you?
I'm just happy to see that we're gonna get Star Wars until I'm dead. I mean, it looks like there's a lot of Star Wars on the way.
A good 5 to 10 years worth of I mean, just based on average human lifespan.
Sure. Yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah. I plan to leave my Star Wars Disney Plus subscription as in my will to my children. So no, but it's just I'm just happy that there's stuff coming. I have expectations for or limited expectations for what to expect from Book of Boba Fett. Again, I love that everything Filoni's been involved in has always, like, Rebels wasn't a story about just rebels like we thought it would be. We thought it was going to be about like some kid who joins the Rebel Alliance, and it turned into this great force and family story. Like Clone Wars turned into just such an amazing story. We didn't know what to expect from Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. I look, that trailer that they showed us, everybody was all pumped and excited, but I felt like that trailer was actually pretty subdued, pretty lame, honestly. It looks like it all came from one episode, and I'm so happy about that. I'm glad it was lame. I didn't want to see something at all. Like, I just, again, like we said before, we're gonna watch it, so surprise me. Give me another Baby Yoda moment. Give me another Luke Skywalker walking in moment. Give me something that I wasn't expecting, or don't. Just give me something fun. And I like the end of the first episode of Mandalorian gave us Grogu. The end of the first episode of season 2 of Mandalorian gave us Boba Fett. Who knows what is on the horizon? And I'm ready for it. And I do hope the one thing that is not in jeopardy from the Investors Day last year was that concept of all these things coming together in one event. I think that will make all this worthwhile. And Star Wars has done a really nice job of sort of paying off the fans who keep up with all the different content.
Brock?
What was the question? I like Star Wars.
Okay.
We're talking about Ahsoka, right? Yeah.
We're talking. What are you hoping? What are you hoping from these upcoming series?
Any like connection to Rebels, because I loved Rebels, so that'd be great. But like, I think I was talking about it last week. It's like it would be cool to see flashbacks that are like live action characters of Clone Wars. You know, like be it CGI Timor Morrison to look like Fives or Echo. Like, yes, please. So yeah, no, and Cam is right. It's like you shouldn't like get all hot and bothered about what it could be, because like that trailer Book of Boba Fett it gave you an idea of what it was going to be about, but didn't really tell you anything. I'm like, perfect.
Perfect trailer.
Yeah.
Yep.
The trailer did one thing.
I'll go for it.
Go again.
No, I was just saying I don't want the trailer to give me a summary of the movie. I want it to whet my appetite.
Like that's what I'm worried about with this. Yeah, the Spider-Man trailer had a couple really funny lines. I hope that's not like it from the movie.
The Book of Boba Fett trailer did one thing that we all started this show saying, and that is proof that it exists.
That's right. Exactly.
They're not going to fire. They're not going to fire the directors. We got it. It's coming for sure. It's a guarantee. At least a minute and a half of it is guaranteed, because we haven't seen anything else. So that could, this might be all they shot. We don't know. Well, hopefully, we get these in 2022. We don't know when Book of Boba Fett will clearly end. It's run probably around February, March, somewhere around there, and then we'll see what the cards hold at the end of that. I saw Heidi said that she hopes that we get Obi-Wan at the end of credits of a Book of Boba Fett, kind of like we got Book of Boba Fett at the end of Mandalorian season 3. The future is bright for Star Wars. I think that's what we can say. Whether it's theatrical or not, we don't know. But on Disney Plus, you can't beat it, and the content's been great so far, and we have no reason to believe it won't be. We're going to wrap it up. So, guys, thanks so much for joining us. Cam, where can everybody find you? Do you want to plug anything?
Yeah, well,
semi-productions?
Thanks for having me on for my Connie Kennedy jokes and more. You can find me on Twitter at Cam Ray or on YouTube at Cam Ray Semi Productions, where I do comedy, parody, and satire, mostly Star Wars related.
Nice.
Mostly.
Good
stuff. And Pete?
We definitely, Cam, I need to put in a request for more Mac Nada, man. That was hilarious. That little skit.
I think there's gonna be more heading out.
That's great.
He's so stupid.
You can find me on all social media channels at ATGcast, mostly on Twitter, spending way too much time and usually, sort of walking the line between being a troublemaker and defending the virtues of the internet. And you can also find my podcast every Tuesday. We have Around the Galaxy, which is an interview show, and on Saturdays we drop Disturbances in the Force, which is 5-minute collection of news, no clickbait, no spin, just sort of all the things that have happened over the week in 5 minutes or less. And
I've got to say, that's awesome. Saturday mornings, I love it. Every week, it's just like it gives you that everything you need to know. Anything you've missed, it fills it in. So thanks for doing that.
Well, I'm glad you like it. It's a lot of fun. So that's where you can find me, atgcast.com.
And Brock, how are you? You new here?
Check me out on LinkedIn. I just updated my portfolio and I'm looking for work. At BF Smink on social media. Cool guy 69 on Plenty of Fish. I don't know.
Any of those.
Just watch our stuff. Watch their stuff.
Yeah.
Watch everybody's stuff.
Yeah, watch it all. Guys, thanks so much. It means a lot. Happy Thanksgiving, because it's Thanksgiving. So go. You got your turkeys in the oven.
Yes.
If that's what you're doing, or whatever. Tofurkey, whatever it is.
Turducken.
Turducken. I'm James. Thanks for watching. And I'm just going to say, Brock to my left was always Scum.
Rebel Scum.
Scumbags, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on our video. As always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rebel Scum Podcast, for all the latest videos.